Welcome to Stand-Up Comedy Sex Ed. It's where you can get questions answered like,
how long does it take the average man to orgasm?
And
how long does it take the average woman to orgasm?
And also,
why is it so hot in here?
Audiences agree it's brilliantly funny. Raylene makes sex ed fun. This show is entertaining, factual, and relatable.
There's nothing worse than being halfway done with sex and feeling your vagina shut down on you.
You've got to see Stand-Up Comedy Sex Ed.
I am ready to go do that comedy show. Hey everybody, welcome to season 2 of the Stand-Up Comedy Sex Ed podcast, hosted by Raylene Taskoski and some other guest. And today's guest is Daniel Greenwolf, and he was introduced to me as a Celtic magician, podcaster, poly guy, and queer advocate, and kilt-wearing ginger.
That's
so
right.
Welcome to the show, Daniel. Is that all correct?
That's all of that is accurate. I am all of those things, although right now I am not wearing a kilt I am wearing a snooty, which is, I think, a combination of a snuggie and a hoodie because it's cold. Nice. So I'm very happy to be warm and cuddly. But generally speaking, yes, I prefer wearing kilts. I do an Irish-themed magic show. And I happen to be also polyamorous and pansexual and an advocate for sex positivity, which has gotten me some levels of interesting things over the years. We'll say that much. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, it seems like you're on the right podcast. I seek always to learn and hear and be educated and meet different and interesting people so that my horizons can continue to grow. Woo! Because I am a straight... I'm straight. I'm
straight. Just straight.
I'm just straight.
Look, some of my best friends are straight. It's okay. I know some straight. They're perfectly good people. Listen, it's not my choice, but I respect yours for making it.
Exactly. I think I said on my last podcast, I told my hairdresser, because I had mentioned pansexuals, and she's like, "What is that?" And I said, "It means you love everybody. It doesn't matter what wine is in the bottle. You don't look at the labels. You just love everybody." And I said, "I'm pansexual. I just choose to only have sex with that one white guy that I've been with my whole life."
There you go. See, and I always like to clarify, just when people say like pansexuality, you should love everybody. I'm like, no. Pansexuality means I can love you despite whatever gender you are, but I probably hate most of you.
There we go. That's fair.
Yeah, I probably, there's probably a lot of people out there that I can't stand. I mean, statistically, at least between 50 or 60 million, maybe. But that's another, I don't have numbers to accurately back that up. I'm just saying, at least in this country. But yeah, I've been an advocate for, I didn't start off as an advocate. I've just been a magician for most of my life, and I like being a magician, but a couple of years ago, actually going on 7 years now, I've been in a polyamorous relationship with my husband and wife. The three of us live together, and we raise our two daughters. We were talking about before, they're 9 and 10. And I've been in their life basically since they were 3 and 4. So they know, this is what they know. Like, this is their life, And a couple of years back, 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I can't remember now. It's been a long time. But we were asked to do a video for a company about being polyamorous, and it was called Extreme Love. And I was like, I don't know, we'll see, but they did some other ones pretty okay. And we ended up doing our video, and they realized immediately that we were so boring. Just so freaking boring, and they were so annoyed. But they tried if you watch the original video, you can see like they like show the picture of the bed where the three of us sleep, and they put this bad porn music on the bed shot. But the reason why is because they had nothing else they could. They're like, they don't have sex parties. None of it. They're just boring. And like, yeah. All that having 3 parents means is 3 people who are sleep deprived, who don't know what the other 2 people are doing. That's all it is. We have a Google Calendar. It doesn't help. What are we doing today? I have no freaking idea. Especially now. The kids are home. 2 of us are home. My husband, Ken, he works from home. I work from home if I'm not, especially now, I work from home. So I do a bunch of virtual shows, But it's like we still have no idea. What time are the kids signing on? I've got no freaking clue. We're done, you know? So that's all that being polyamorous and married means, is that there's just more of us to be confused. That's all.
No, thank you.
I mean, there's the upsides too. But when we did the video, and it got like 35 million views on Facebook, and we got to do a BuzzFeed Live interview, which was great. I love that. The BuzzFeed Live was way better because they actually let us control the message, and because polyamory is not about sex. Polyamory isn't about sex, you know. I'm a sex positive person. I talk about that basically being somebody who I believe in the concept of that sex can be connected to relationships, but it doesn't have to be. Sex can be amongst friends. So for some people, sex can be amongst strangers. If that's what you're into and everybody is playing it safe, then that's great. As long as everybody is consenting and has enthusiastic consent, cool. But they're two totally separate things. So different. And that was kind of the big thing we tried to get across to people. And BuzzFeed was so much better than the other company who shan't be named, for they are of a nefarious sort. I mean, it wasn't bad, I guess. It wasn't terrible, but
they were just trying to sell something that didn't exist.
Yeah, well, they tried to, because it's about clicks, right? It's all, I mean, when it's the social media game, it's about clicks. And BuzzFeed seemed, honestly, which is funny because you think BuzzFeed, you're like, there's no way BuzzFeed, but they were honestly more interested in the live Q&A aspect and more interested in, and it was an hour-long conversation. So they were able to, and we could control the questions, be like, I'm not going to answer that. I'm going to answer that, because people always ask the same shit, Right. By the way, pardon me, can I swear? I have no idea if I can swear.
Yes.
Woo! Yeah.
All
right.
I cannot have a podcast about sex and not be able to swear, because sometimes I literally have to look at you people and go, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. So and rightfully so. I would look at us and go rightfully, but yeah, so I was able to get rid of some of that shit, which was great.
I know two people who have been on, one was on a reality TV show, the one about wife swapping.
Oh yeah.
That they had, and where the moms would swap houses.
Yeah, for the week. Yeah.
Yeah. I know somebody who was on that one, and her family were like, what they put on TV was absolutely nothing like what our real life is. Nothing. And then also the company that I work for, one of the TV shows had done, they were going to do a series, but they only wound up doing one episode. It was called Mother Knows Sex. And it was supposed to be about our company and about her life and her family and how we built the company. And they wound up mostly focusing on her one son who had a drug problem. Like the fact that the mom built the sex toy company had anything to do with the fact that this one kid had a drug problem. And I'm like, what? You just really just fucked up everything, stupid.
Oh
TV
yeah.
channel.
Well, that's what happens. I mean, we got a lot of, and it's funny, after you get something that hits big, you get producers who contact you and they want to do shows and stuff. And I think, and really we had people even contacting us really before the pandemic took hold. We had people contacting us and asking us about stuff. And it was always, people who sell you on an idea and they always want to sell you. And we're always like, you know what? My husband and wife, my wife works in the show with me when she's not doing her real job. She's actually a nurse, but she also works when we do the illusion shows. And they're all like, okay, we know that this would be good promotion if we get in front of eyeballs and you show yourself, and we can show ourselves in the best light. And they're all kind of advocates as well in that sense. And, so we'll take these meetings. And it's always the same meeting. And the same people like, we can make this great. And we can make it about the message and the story. And then I feel that these people really do want to make it about the message of the story. And that's why it never gets to production. Because the producers look at it and go, this is so boring. Even the video that got such huge things, like aside from that one bit, they couldn't, there's I share my boyfriend with my husband was like the title. It was supposed to be all insidious, but the actual video was like, nah, these are just people that have 2 kids and he's got a weird job and that's about it. But whoa, hey now, that's it sounded so sad.
But the more Like, I remember the first person I met who was living in a polyamorous relationship, and she had her husband, and then she also had her boyfriend, and they all lived together. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, and I was really just taken aback, I guess. It's because I had never been exposed to it. But now I'm like, cool, whatever. So anytime that goes out there, no matter how lurid they want to make it seem, it's still one more person that has seen it, and so now it's not shocking the next time, and it's taking the shock value out of it, which is kind of sadly what the news has done with like school shootings and all anything that they're putting out there. It has to be so much worse than the last one because there's no shock value anymore. You're like, oh great, another school got shot up. Okay, what else is on the news?
Yeah, I mean, if there's been one upside because of the pandemic, hey, no school shootings, I guess. That's one upside. It's not in session. Because then it's just a home homicide, and that's boring to them.
Right. A lot of people figuring out their kids were not that great to have in class, and they're done with that shit.
Exactly. It's all set, right? But
sorry,
in Connecticut,
let's not joke about abusing children.
We will not. We won't joke about that. Although there are days. There's days. I love my kids. I do. But just sometimes we were raised, my father was a Marine from Vietnam, and he was actually surprised, and he knew that he was screwed up. Like, he knew that it was, most of the guys who come out of Vietnam, they realized, they're like, yeah, this was a terrible experience for everybody involved. No one's imagine. Nobody after Vietnam was like, glad I did that. Nobody was like that.
Quite an experience. Hell of an adventure.
Yeah, that's right. Boy, I've got something to talk about. Like, no.
Built character.
Yeah. It's real good for me. But my dad, I always wonder, because I didn't come out as bisexual and really pansexual. Initially, the term bisexuality is what I used for myself, and then I realized pansexuality was more the term that I felt more connected to. But I didn't really come out about that until after my dad had passed away, because my dad passed away about 11 years ago, and he was always, it's hard to pin where my dad would have landed on stuff. My father was, I guess he was a Marine from Vietnam, but he was also Wiccan. And my mother is Wiccan, which is a pagan religion that's, aspect of a god and a goddess, and we're considered witches and stuff like that. But and so I always wonder where he would have fallen on that, because it just never was a topic that sex was discussed in my house. Sex wasn't a taboo subject, but it just never crossed my mind. I grew up with 4 brothers, so I definitely didn't want to say, hey.
That's a lot of dicks in one house.
A lot of a lot of dicks in one house. I'm not even talking genitalia. My brothers are all of them. My mom used to say the only people that she's got with her are the cat and the dog on her side. But because they were women. So, but my mom was also viciously strong in that sense too. My mom was a take no shit kind of lady, still is, but she was soft spoken until she wasn't. In fact, I remember because my mother is Irish and Swedish, and it certainly played into certain things. Because one day my mom got so pissed that none of us were listening. My brothers were not listening to her, and my dad worked overnights. He worked as a shipper, J.J. Nissen. And what happened was that my brothers and I weren't listening one day, like for cleaning up the house. And my mother just flipped her shit and just reached in to, you don't want to clean up? Fine. She reached in a bookshelf, knocked all the books like off the ground and like made a giant mess in the ground. She's like, I am going to Dunkin' Donuts and I will be back. And she walked out of the house, slammed the door, got in the car, took off. My father wakes up, walks down the stairs, looks at us, goes, what did you do? What?
You broke her.
What did you do? You better clean this up. You're all screwed. Like, my father was very clear that he's like, you get no protection from me. You out. If she comes home and she says she wants me to throw you against the wall, you get her prepared to fly. All right, you're going. So my dad's rule was definitely, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So that was we try to live by that one still. But
I'm a little sad because with your bright red hair and you talking about Irish, I really, really wanted you to say everything that your mom said with an Irish accent. I mean, I was really hoping for it.
I wish. Unfortunately, my mom was is very much so Connecticut native. It wasn't until I think my great grandmother had the Irish accent, and hers was definitely more of a lighter one from down there, maybe more of a not southern, more of the middle of the country there. She was very light. Everything goes up at the end,
More like the Lucky Charms guy.
A little bit, tiny bit, but still, hearing any Irish person swear still fills me with joy whenever I get a chance to. It's lovely.
Right.
I like it.
It's adorable. I don't know why I'm obsessed with that whole region of the country right now. It could be because I just finished watching The Crown. It could be because I just finished reading/watching Outlander. It could be that I'm watching Bridgerton right now. It's like even my GPS on my phone is an English accent. I'm just obsessed.
I have my all my Google equipment has an English woman telling me what to do, and I actually really appreciate that. It's always nice because they don't have an Irish woman.
Are you in Connecticut too?
I am in Connecticut. Yes, I'm born and bred.
So when I go over like the bridge in New London, it's like get off on Thames Street.
Like, oh yay!
Instead of Thames.
Yeah.
Like so I'm in jolly old England.
It's my little bit of, it's the only bit of class I have. It's also because I can't have Jarvis. Like I want the Jarvis, I would love that. But I actually, speaking of which, cause you talked about, Outlander and stuff. Cause I only watched what was on Netflix. So I'm still several seasons behind, but there is a series coming to Starz, which is, the two guys, so Sam, right? Sam Haig, whatever it is. And the older gentleman, which I can never remember his name off the top of my head.
I'm not good with names at all.
Neither am I. But two of the stars of Outlander, the two guys who are the stars of Outlander, they're going on a road trip through Scotland. Oh. And it's like, and the whole thing is like, it's like men in kilts. And it's all them like on their kilted trip through Scotland and talking about all the Scottish stuff. And it looks pretty awesome. I'm excited. I might have to get Starz just for that.
I actually bought Starz specifically so I could get caught up on Outlander. And I did one of those, 6 months for $25.99 thing. And then I set an alarm on my phone and I was like, on this day, cancel Starz. And they don't make it easy.
Nope.
It's like a 12-step process. And at one point I was like, wait a minute. I don't think it canceled. So then I went back and did the whole process again. And nope, I had missed the very last step. And then a week later, it was like, come back 6 months for $24.99. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I will rejoin.
That's
but
right.
I'm not paying $20 a month I'm cheap.
That's right. You have to be.
But for $4 a month, I'm all in.
Look, I did the same thing. I signed up for the 7-day free trial of Quibi just so I could watch the Anna Kendrick show, Dummy, which I actually kind of liked. Me and my wife and my girlfriend, we all three of us watched it together, and it was I liked it. Quibi is terrible, and obviously
I thought it was already closed down already.
Already done, already gone. Yeah. So we watched it. It was great.
And you would have thought the pandemic would have helped that thing.
No, because people are actually watching real television. They're actually
because we had more than 10 minutes to spare.
Exactly. Nobody's sitting in an airport waiting to board and like, I'll watch. No, they're all watching. We're all watching YouTube and Netflix.
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of that.
A lot of sitting around and staring at our screens for hours on end.
Yeah. I went through a lot of TV shows.
Oh God, we're still. I'm a sad geek. I just now. I finished all of Cobra Kai because another background too.
That's my next one right after Bridgerton.
Oh, let me tell you something. I grew up I'm a third degree black belt in Tang Soo Do, which is a Korean martial art. And when you grow up doing that and your name is Daniel. Yeah, you're putting the pieces there. I was Daniel's so many
Daniel-san.
For so many goddamn people and but still didn't reduce my love of the movies or of Tangshido, so I don't know what the heck is miswired in my brain, but probably a lot. But yeah,
or Ralph Macchio.
Macchio.
I've never been able to say his name right.
Macchio. I don't know. Listen, Pat Morita
Macchiato.
is Macchiato. Ralph Macchiato. I'll take that. I'm certainly gay enough to want a macchiato. But yeah, no, for me it's Pat Morita. That man is I loved him so dearly. I was so sad when he left this world. He was awesome. But because out of character, he was just so delightful. Oh my goodness. I loved him. But anyways, so yeah, so I got through Cobra Kai. Now I'm finally on to Mandalorian, and I was a big Star Wars geek and Star Trek geek growing up. Cause I mean, magic, obviously.
Right.
It's astonishing I ever had sex at all, but yeah.
I don't know. A guy got me into bed with magic once.
I'm so sorry. Never let that happen again.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I mean, the story has been told on this podcast before. I was gonna say it didn't last long, but that's not what I meant. What I meant was the relationship didn't last long. The sex went on and on and on and on and on until I finally was like, I'm done. Get off of me, and I left.
Yeah, that magicians. That's basically the same thing. If you want to see 10 card tricks, ask them to see one. That's how magicians work. So I imagine sex is probably very similar for a lot of them. It's just like, I get it. Yeah. The plot keeps going. All right. Thanks. Right. Yeah. Great.
Did you please not hear me applause already? Because I applauded. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready. I don't even want to cuddle at this point, for Christ's sake. Just move on.
I was so mad. Oh. I was mad and I was dry and I was like bent out of shape, literally. It was like, my leg doesn't go there. Knock it off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Maybe this magician was used to somebody who's more of an assistant type and bends better. My last girlfriend could fit into a small container. What the hell?
Yeah, I think that he had just watched a lot of porn and thought that women were much more into him than we really were.
God, I grew up with my porn growing up. It gave me a massive inferiority complex. I understand that, but it did make me better at oral sex. I really do feel like watching porn gave me they like it when you do the better things, not the things that they were doing, but like I never watched porn that just started with the sex. All porn. And this is something that I think people forget about, even most decent porn, starts with foreplay of some sort. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not a long time, but they all start somewhere with that. Like most of the videos, even if it's a 73-person gangbang, there's some kind of foreplay beginning. And so
have to get women interested.
Yeah. You'd think or some of, again, more of us gay folk. We like, although I've met plenty of gay men and maybe not as many women, I don't think, but I've met plenty of gay men that just kind of they think foreplay is like when you say hi. So that's like, hello, my name is Daniel. Oh, are we done with foreplay? Like, no, that's not how it is.
I need a little bit more than that.
Oh, that. Yeah. So I think I'll give porn I'll give that. That's where my sex education, I feel comfortable with saying that porn did give me that, aside from the massive inferiority complex. And also growing up fat did not help that matter. I used to be 355 pounds. So I was a very big boy. I mean, I'm currently wearing my snooty, so I don't know how big I look on screen, but
you have a nice narrow face, but it also could be that the hair is nice and long. So that's,
that's right. It's all a big, exactly. It's all an optical illusion. That's how I make it all work. The stereo headphones make everything smaller. No, but I think that all of that made me realize two things. One, consent was important for me before it was cool. Because you don't want to be a 6 foot tall, 355 pound fat guy and have somebody say, I wasn't really into having sex with you. Like that ruins you in so many deep psychological ways. And thankfully, I never had that, but I had friends who had that, and I didn't want to be that. I just felt that way. So I always was very, A, enthusiastic consent had to be done, and B, I never upplayed any of my physical attributes. I never upplayed my ability. None of that. You never, because here's what I'd rather have.
This is probably going to be disappointing. Are you into it? Say yes enthusiastically.
Exactly. This may at best maybe
be adequate.
An adequate diversion from watching the VHS we currently have in. Can we?
Yeah, right. Back then it was VHS and chill.
That's right. Hi, I got 3 ninjas kick back. Do you want to sit down and watch it with me? But I really do think that helped. And then, because here's my thought process. If I tell somebody, because there's people who think because I wear a kilt and I'm on stage and everything, and they're like, oh God, he's got to be hung like a moose. And I go, first of all, no, get that out of your head, because just because I've got balls of solid brass, that has nothing to do with anything else.
Still hung like a white guy.
Exactly. But the other thing is, this only goes one of two ways. If I tell everybody that I'm like, no, I'm not big. In fact, it's probably, probably this, I'm sure Stephen Hawking has a theory about how small my dick is. But but either you look at it and you go, oh, well, it's not that bad. Or you look at it and you go like, well, why is it like? I'm like, I told you.
Why is it like that?
Why is it like that?
What happened to it?
What happened to it?
Did they take the whole tip?
That's right.
That's the foreskin. What the hell?
I'm telling you. But that's the thing. If you set yourself up, so those who have a penis, I can only suggest to you, stop upplaying your size, and don't be, if anything, short it by an inch or two, because the people who do end up seeing it will either be impressed or it'll be exactly what they expected. Just give yourself that. And if you're somebody who is extremely well hung, also downplay it, because there's plenty of women and men who will be mildly terrified by a giant penis. They will be. They are. It's scary.
I had a boyfriend in high school who had a massive, and I've seen plenty now, and still when I go back, I'm like, that one was huge. Because I try to think to myself, was it huge because it was one of the first few that I saw, or was it huge? And I was like, that penis never made it past your labia. It was huge.
Yep.
It was massive. It was like a Coke can.
Yeah, it's there is a certain kind of person.
And now that I'm 52, I'm like, where'd he go? No, I'm kidding.
That's right. Where is it? Bring it back. Come on now. Yeah, I am as I always terrified by the idea of and I have a friend of mine who I always used to make a joke and be like, his wife's got to be like a pole sitter, like one of the old time circus pole sitters. She climbs up there and she's like, I'm almost done. Like she has to yell down. Like they have to have a radio system so they can talk at the end of his dick. Like it's something. So I never wanted to be those people either. I just wanted to not hate my body is what it comes down to. And
welcome to being a woman.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, I have a therapist and I have a couples therapist, and I can say that so many men and women, I don't know if I think that those who are cis males, I would say cis males would be more are better at hiding it maybe, but so many people do not like their bodies and themselves, and that's really sad, and I wish more people did. And I wish I did. I am still working on it. I lost 140 pounds and I still look at myself and go, no.
Nah.
I have my days though. I think that's what I'd be looking for, right? You're just looking for good days. Days when you can take one naked selfie and go like, I'll show that to somebody else. Not like to the world. Like, no, I'm not opening an OnlyFans, but like
I would never take a naked selfie.
I could show that to somebody.
I don't even like walking by the mirror when I'm naked.
Yeah, you just look and you're like,
oh,
Jesus.
Where'd she come from? Somebody else is standing in the mirror with me. What the fuck?
That's why mirrors on the ceiling terrify me. Like, I can't imagine.
I would look like a pancake. Like everything would just like off to the side.
And especially you wake up in the middle of the night, you open your eyes and like, a flat thing is going to fall on me. It's got a face.
And you're pretty white. It would probably look like the moon falling right.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I had to go with how white the Irish are.
Oh no, we are. I'm violently pale. Although I have to admit, so I like as I've mentioned, I have to wear makeup when I do virtual shows. Otherwise, I am as white as a sheet. But the thing is that I found that I'm not as white as I thought because I have to get a darker foundation. Like I had to. They make foundations that are whiter than I am, and I was surprised by this. Like.
Maybe it's for the kabuki girls.
That's right. It's right. It's all of that for like traditional geishas. But I figured out that because I'm not really white, and I quote Bill Murray from Space Jam because they talk about Larry Bird. Like Larry Bird's white because Larry's not white. Larry's clear.
Oh,
and that's what I am. I'm see-through. I go into a doctor's office and the nurses are all like, "I can just see your veins. This is perfect." They're in and out. They've never missed. And that's, it's because literally I have a giant circle. Just like, shoot there. It's great.
That's hilarious.
I hope that'll do me good when vaccine time rolls around. When my number comes up. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Microchip me. I don't care.
I had COVID, so I'll just...
Oh, my goodness.
I'll just go ahead and live my life.
Yeah, well, you waited out. I hate to break it to you. There's a chance that immunity might wear off. So
so will yours.
I don't care.
Didn't you see? It'll only last 3 to 4 months, and then you have to get it every year, just like the flu shot.
Bah.
Which I also don't get.
I've seen. Oh, you're one of those. All right.
I am. I'm one of those.
We're done now.
I had the flu one time that was really, really, really bad. Like, I don't know, 10 or 15, maybe even 22 years ago. One of those really bad ones where you just kind of want to die. And then, anytime I get it now, I get a touch of the flu where you just feel bad for a couple of days. And eventually I feel like COVID will probably be the same eventually. Right now, all our immune systems are going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is new.
Well, it's because it happens to be something that also attacks that can also attack your organs and fucking liquefy you. So, the flu is bad, but this is not it. This is not that. Hopefully, like I said, once we get ourselves our herd immunity there, because my girlfriend is in Pennsylvania. So as you can tell, I've been watching coronavirus news very goddamn closely because I would like to see her at some point. Thank you, Connecticut.
Have you seen her at all, or is this just an online thing right now?
No, we've seen each other. She was up for Thanksgiving because we didn't go see our families for Thanksgiving, and she basically it's kind of just her and she has 2 kids. But it's been last year when we were all kind of together when this all we've been together for over a year now, and so from like September until March. We were seeing each other fairly regularly, she would come up, we'd go down. It's like a 3-hour drive or whatever. And then March hit. And it's funny, when this all hit, we were actually coming back. We were doing a show in Virginia Beach. My wife and I were doing our Full Illusion show in Virginia Beach. We were hired by a performing arts center. In fact, the Zeiders American Dream Theater down there was lovely. It was a beautiful space, beautiful people to work with. And it was a 300-seat theater that was sold out for our show. Over the course of the week, when things started being announced, it went from being sold out to being, okay, it is now 200 tickets, to now, all right, now we have to have it half full capacity because of guidelines. And by the time we did our show, this was again at the beginning of March, I think we had 80 people in the crowd. Everybody was sitting apart, and we were already at the elbow handshake phase. Like, They didn't know about masks at this point, if masks were good or not. They didn't know but we had hand sanitizer everywhere. People were keeping a safe distance, and we were doing elbow handshakes. So, and on the drive back from Virginia Beach, because we drove from Connecticut to Virginia, we were like, my husband called up and my wife's mom. They're like, we need toilet paper, and they're out up here. So on our drive back, we stopped at every other Walmart that we could get ourselves near. All of them were sold out of toilet paper until we came across one that was selling Scott's, the big rolls of the Scott tissues. They just put a pallet out, and we went in and we got some for folks. But if we didn't like by the time we were leaving, that pallet was empty. We were there for 10 minutes and people just cleared it out. So we got lucky. It was like one place randomly along the route that we found. So that was the beginning of all of this silliness. And so, it's been hellacious trying to figure out because you don't want to, because my whole career is performing for large groups. That's it.
So is mine.
Yeah. So what in the hell are we supposed? So I've been doing virtual stuff for since March. We've been doing live stream shows, and I do a virtual show, which I don't know when this is going to go out, but I will totally pimp my virtual show.
Do it.
Awesome. January 29th and 30th, I'll be doing Celtic Magic virtually live, which is basically it's interactive. It's a full live show, and we just we do it through Zoom, and we've done it now since November or since October, something like that. No, wait, something like that. We've done it a bunch. There we go. I can't remember anymore. Time has no meaning.
Right.
But I've been doing it since then, and it's been a lot. It's actually been a lot of fun. It's been fulfilling because I'm a problem solver kind of guy. So I like trying to figure out. That's one reason why I like polyamory too, because it's like another puzzle to kind of figure out and solve. But when you screw up, though, it's just you're affecting a lot more humans, I think, is the problem, than if I screw up my magic show.
All right, now I'm going to get nosy because, that's
Let's
what I
do it.
So now you said you have a husband and you have a wife and you have a girlfriend.
Correct.
So how do you go about bringing another person into a fairly well-established relationship? And is it just your girlfriend or is it everybody's girlfriend?
Okay, so every polyamorous relationship is different, and everybody's going to have different rules and different things set up. With us, and I'll give you the full scorecard to the best of my ability. Here we go. My husband, my wife, and I, all three of us live together. We sleep in the same bed. My husband has a girlfriend.
Wait. Who sleeps in the center?
My wife does because she wants the most warmth. And it just makes life a little bit easier. Also, we go to bed at weird times anyway. We're terrible about that. So with three of us live together, we raise the kids, we sleep together. My husband has a girlfriend, just his girlfriend, disconnected from my wife and I, and that's his girlfriend, and that's Laura, who's fantastic, has been with Ken for almost 5 years now, I think, something like going on 5 years. I have a girlfriend, Meadow, who has been with me for over a year, and is also my wife's girlfriend. So Meadow is both of our girlfriends, and my wife has a girlfriend, who is just her girlfriend, who she's been with for a couple of months now. It's just her girlfriend. So that is the scorecard as it currently stands. We have the studio has a couch that pulls out into a mattress. So if somebody comes and stays over and they want to have a separate room, we have a separate room for them. They can stay here and camp out here, and that's fine. And that's the whole scorecard as it is. It's so a lot of relationships.
There's no it's not permission based. Like you don't have to be like, I met this girl, I think I like her. Is it cool if I invite her over, kind of thing?
No. So what happens is it comes down to, it's a conversation. It's not a permission thing. So here's the deal. Because we've learned over the years that the idea of veto power, the idea that a partner has control over another partner's actions, is not healthy. Because what happens is then it creates a resentment. It creates, and also it's a control thing. It's a weird possessiveness that is uncomfortable and unsettling. And so what we end up doing is we say, listen, we're going to have a conversation. Hey, I'm going to go and have coffee with this person. Okay, cool. Go ahead, have coffee with this person. That's great. And maybe things progress, and we're kept in the loop is the best way to describe it. And then we ask if it's okay, but it's a courtesy to ask, hey, is this all right? Because again, I talk about nobody knows what the fuck's going on in our house. We really don't. Like, what is the schedule? is someone going to be able to pick up the kids from school, or is somebody going to be able to take the kid to karate or whatever? If I go and I spend an evening, if I go down to Pennsylvania for the weekend, is everything set? If I go and I'm spending the night, in wherever, is everything set? All of these things play in as a factor. So it's not asking for permission. It's just making sure that it can happen logistically. And if there's a thing that we're uncomfortable about, then we can talk about it. But my discomfort about a relationship that's not mine is not on me. It's not on them, I should say. It's on me.
Right. Okay.
And the jealousy and envy. So I'll tell you right now. I have a feeling, and jealousy and envy I describe them in two different ways. Jealousy is, I want the thing that you have, and I don't want you to have it. Envy is, I want what you have, but I also want you to have it too.
Okay, that's cool.
So that's the way I describe them differently. So for me, envy is, so my husband's girlfriend and my wife's girlfriend, who is not my girlfriend, they live in Connecticut within 15 minutes of the house. So they can come over whenever. They're in our bubble, they're in our circle, they can come over and they can hang out. They can just hang out. My girlfriend lives in Pennsylvania, 3 hours away. That can't happen.
Right.
So there's definitely a feeling of envy there. But it's not their fault. It's not my girlfriend, it's not my wife's girlfriend's fault. It's not my husband's girlfriend's fault that they happen to live in Connecticut, It's just infuriating that this restriction's being put upon me that's outside of my control. And the funny thing is that I could even say, well, I could get tested. She could get tested. We could go down. We could meet. But still, at the end of the day, if I get pulled over, I'm going to get a $500 fine for meeting my girlfriend. Like, it is aggravating. But you have to remember that that's separate, and that's separate from my feelings. That has nothing to do with something that they did. And this is something that we have to work through. I have a couples therapist with my wife, and I have a couples therapist. And we talk about the other aspects of our relationship. Nobody else comes into these sessions. It's just my wife and I, because my wife and I are the ones who've had the most, we've had the most kind of issues with things over the years, just because we're just very intense people.
My husband started your throuple.
As long as you never call it that again, I'm fine.
Sorry.
With it. No, it's okay. No. I like triad. It makes me sound like I'm in an Asian gang.
Okay, good. So who was the original two and the original? Well, I'm guessing you and your husband and your wife were the original triad.
So here's the thing.
Original two.
So my husband and wife have been married for now. Oh God, they've been married now for like 11 years, 12 years.
Okay.
And they knew each other before that. I was initially with my ex-wife. So to explain, so here we go. Here comes the story. I've told this, but this is the basic line of it, is that my ex-wife and I, when she was not my ex-wife, we were together for about a decade, and we were sexually open. We were not polyamorous. We were just sexually open. And we met, my husband and wife. They were married. We were married. We thought, by the way they were talking with us and the way that they were interacting with us, we were so convinced that they were also, and the term I was using at the time was swingers. There's really, it was hard to come up with another term, 7 years ago. Now I like sex positive or sexually open. I prefer that better. But we thought they were. My husband was bisexual, and my wife was HeteroFlexible. It turns out she realized later that she was full-on pansexual, but she didn't really realize that at the time.
HeteroFlexible, I like that.
Isn't that great? It's a good phrase, right? But what happened was that all four of us met, and we're like, oh, this will be fun, and we'll just kind of connect, and maybe we'll just have some fun times. But then real feelings started to develop amongst the four of us. And so for about 8 months, the four of us were in a polyamorous quad, where my ex-wife was in love with my husband, and my wife was in love with me, and we loved each other. But those were kind of the main pairings. Obviously everybody was in love with everybody else, was what it seemed to be. What it turned out is that, and my wife and I had problems. My ex-wife and I had problems. And so for about 5 years into our relationship, and we were together for 10 years. So it's 5 years of pretty constant, heinous shit towards each other. And it turned out that my ex-wife was not looking to be in a polyamorous relationship. My ex-wife was looking to replace me. To which my husband said, but I love my wife, I love my children, and I love my boyfriend, me. He's like, I'm not leaving them for you. Like, that's not how this works. And my ex-wife hated my girlfriend and was jealous of her, thought she was a brat and all this other crap. And she was just really toxic. And so finally, on Christmas morning, right? On Christmas morning, my ex-wife and I got into an argument over cookie bags.
Oh, okay. That'll take a good family down any day.
You'd think so, right? Right? That was the thing. Well, it was the argument was very deep. It was obviously, as we all know, most arguments like that are pointing towards the larger issue. And at the end of that argument, so we started it arguing about cookie bags and we ended at we're separating on Christmas morning. And then we had to go to all of the different families and still, it was an interesting day. And so then what happened was that I was going to live with my ex-wife because we had a lease. We were still we lived in Waterbury in a very nice townhouse. So like we still had a lease to live, to work, to finish out. And then afterwards I was going to find something to live, somewhere to go. And my husband and wife were living separately. And, what happened was that after about 2 weeks, my ex-wife said, nope, can't do this. You're out. And I said, oh, thanks. Great. And she was a teacher. She had a real job. I was the magician. So it made sense that she was going to be the one to try to carry the apartment without me. I get it. On that level, I get it. Financial issue, I wouldn't be able to kick her out anyway. Right. So I was like, all right, fine. So I went over to my husband and wife and I said, hey, this is what's happening. They go, okay, you live with us now. And for, I don't know, like a month, my ex-wife tried to date my husband without us being involved. Like, just like in kind of a you, I guess. But that quickly fell apart because she was just a jealous, hateful person. And so we got divorced and she was out of the picture and it was just the three of us. And we were in Stratford, Connecticut, and then we moved to Orange, Connecticut. And then we've been there ever since. And so we've been together now, just the three of us, for like 6 years now. And
I kind of like this because I'm like, listen, you little snotty ass section of Connecticut, look what you got living there. Ha!
That's right.
Every time I do a party there, all of the women act like, oh, we've never even had sex. And I'm like,
oh God,
fuck you all.
Listen, just remember that there were two functioning before the pandemic, actually one, but then it became two again. There were two functioning porn theaters in Connecticut, Art Cinema and the Fairmount Theater.
I actually know the daughter of one of the owners of one of those.
Probably Art Cinema. I think Fairmount's.
I don't know. I
haven't. The two.
She was friends with my daughter and their friends when they were in college, and sometimes my kids they don't really have trouble telling people what I do, but I think now they've defaulted to comedian real quick because it's easier than sex toy lady.
You know what? I think that the thing you always have to be careful of, right, is just that there's so many goddamn MLM people out there that for you to be like, no, I actually sell sex toys, folks. I do. I'm not, just, you relax now. Like that's the thing.
But I am in direct sales. That's
that's what you do. Like that's what you do.
Yeah. The thing that drives me crazy is that people are unable to differentiate between direct sales and multi-level marketing or network marketing.
Oh yeah.
Network marketing and multi-level marketing and direct sales. Direct sales is part of multi-level marketing and so is network marketing, but they're very, very different.
Exactly.
And the difference is, do you sell a product?
Yeah.
Can I buy a product from you?
Mm-hmm.
That's direct sales.
Yep.
And if somebody says, I'll send you a private message. And then they say, hey, you sign up as a preferred customer. And then, no.
I want a silicone dick. Mail it to me. That's what I want.
And you can get that from me.
You give me $49.99 plus shipping and handling. I want a decent silicone penis. I want it now. Yes.
Actually, now I just send everybody to my website because since pandemic, I don't do too many parties, so I have nothing in stock. Unless you want to shave. If you want to shave, I got shaving cream. Everything else, go to my website. Shipping is the same and you'll get it faster.
There you go.
Yeah, there is that argument. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Because I did interview someone a couple of months ago about polyamorous relationships. And she said that testing, STD testing, is pretty common. And so I know that you're in a fairly committed circle.
Yeah.
But do we do a lot of testing?
So yeah, what we do for ours, honestly,
actually, let me ask you the background question. Let me ask you the reason I ask you that.
Go ahead.
So where she lives, she can go and get a full panel testing for like $10. Yep. There's, I guess, a local college around where they could do that. And then I looked to see if that sort of thing is available here in Connecticut. And I if you wanted a full STD test panel and you didn't have insurance, it's like $350 or something. So I'm wondering, is there something that I just couldn't find that makes it easier to get testing?
Well, so Planned Parenthood has been very fantastic for that for us. Now, also, I have insurance. I am, I do thank the Affordable Care Act because it got me insurance when I was not going to have anything for ever and ever. So I'm very appreciative of that. And so before the pandemic, I should stress, because now nothing, there's no need. It's like nobody is seeing anybody else. It's all
right.
But when there wasn't the apocalypse and we were connecting with people and meeting up with, and sometimes, and of course, we're still sexually open. Like if there was a case where that was a thing, then yeah, you could certainly go and have a partner if that's what you wanted to do. But the problem is that, none of that happening. But before that, we found out that we could be on basically a 2-month cycle. And what I mean by that is that my husband would get tested, and then 2 months later, my wife would get tested. Then 2 months later, I would get tested. And between the three of us, somebody's getting tested every 2 months. And which is, by the way, pretty overkill most of the time but it just happens to work out that we can take that extra precaution because we have Google Calendar and schedule. And because of Planned Parenthood, because of our insurance, separate insurances, I should say, my husband and wife have an insurance and I have my separate insurance because our marriage can't be legal. Thanks, right. America. Screw you people. But so because of that, all of our stuff is covered. All of our STI panel is covered. And so I don't have an issue with that through, whether it's Planned Parenthood or through my healthcare provider. So I give all the credit to where credit is due with Planned Parenthood. But that's where I suggest folks go for that, because that's the best way to go. And yeah, I do think that regular testing is not only important, I think it is necessary. And now it's interesting to me how the conversation is going to change when the world opens back. I'm sure it already has to some extent, because some people are, because I was talking about the Art Cinema out of Hartford, which is it was a porn theater that was around for a long time. Then it closed down. And during the pandemic, they were able to rebuild and reopen. Like they just had enough people to donate money to the cause of reopening this porn theater. Apparently people are really hard up in Connecticut, but they reopened. And so I'm curious about how that conversation is going to change to add on, when's the last time you were tested? And did you have COVID or did you have the vaccine? Like, I feel like that's going to become part of the conversation now. Cause yeah, I just feel like that's going to become part of the conversation in much the same way. I don't think it's going to be this, because in most circles that I've come across, STI testing is just a part of the conversation and it's just common and it's a very chill conversation. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you were tested? have you, do you have anything, right now? Do you have anything with you? And, and that's another part of the conversation. And I think that this is going to become another part of that conversation, which is fine. I don't mind that. I'm okay with this. So that's my thought. As far as STIs go, it's just get them done. Do it. Get tested.
Okay. So Daniel, how can people find you?
If you want to find my queer, poly, opinionated, liberal ass, you can find me.
Pro-vax.
Highly pro-vaccine, 100%. I'm pro-science, all the good stuff. Anyway, so if you can find me at, which is funny because I'm a magician and a Wiccan, go figure. But anyways, just makes me more pro-science, I think. But yeah, you can find me at, I'm at Daniel Greenwolf on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. I think the only thing I don't have, I think the only social media I don't have is a Parler, but now nobody does. So ha ha ha. Anyways, so you can find me on all those things. CelticMagicShow.com/virtually live is where you can get tickets for my show on January 29th and 30th. And all of the proceeds from that show are going to go towards there's a Reclaim and Rebuild the Bodman Academy of Karate Fund, which is what that show is going to go towards. And it's a big program that is, there's a dojang, which is our term for dojo if you take Korean martial art. And our program, basically, our grandmaster passed away in January before COVID hit. So this has been a great year. 2020 was lovely. So he passed away, and the dojang was in, we didn't know it was going to happen. And now the family has allowed it to be sold because to one of our other black belts who was able to buy it, and it was going to be able to buy it, hopefully. So we have a project to be able to do that. And all the money from those shows on January 29th and 30th is going to go towards that project. So that's my big pitch. That's the nice thing I'm doing for the year. That's it. I'm done. No more nice stuff.
You're done. Is that for the end of 2020 or is that the beginning of 2021 and you're just done for the rest of the year now?
Yeah, right. I figured, I don't know. I think I'm done for the next, I think until 2023, I've got enough cred built up. No, I can't. I'm too much of a pansy ass. I still like to do nice things for people. It's terrible.
I don't. I'm awful and I hate everybody. Okay.
I hate everybody too, but I'm still I'm a sucker.
You can find me on Instagram at Stand Up Comedy Sex Ed. You can find me at standupcomedysexed.com and RayleneTaskoski.com. I've set up a Facebook group just for this podcast so you can participate in polls, ask questions, and politely share an alternate point of view, and generally let us know what you think of this episode. So search. I'm just making shit up now. Search for Stand Up Comedy Sex Ed Podcast on Facebook. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to it right now. Share it with your friends. And don't forget to find me on Undebatable, another awesome podcast with 3 younger men and myself talking about all the fun stuff going on in the world. So look up undebatable.show. And then I don't talk too much about sex on that one, but then all the rest of it comes out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I have the Greenwolf podcast. Why am I an idiot? I've got my podcast too.
Greenwolf Cat.
Why. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I know why. I have a lifetime to prove that. But if you enjoyed me, greenwolfcast.libsyn.com is where you can find about the Greenwolf podcast. I talk to people every week, magicians and jugglers and other performers. That's what I do. That's me.
That is awesome. Hey, I actually know a mentalist if you want to connect and have him on your show.
Who's your mentalist?
Jonathan Pritchard.
John Pritchard.
Jonathan Pritchard.
Yes, let me see. I feel like here's the problem. This is where the magic world is like, I think I know Jonathan Pritchard, but do I know Jonathan Pritchard?
He was on our podcast and he asked our producer, he's like, oh, did Raylene connect you with me? And he's like, no, I didn't know you knew Raylene.
Oh.
It has happened like 2 times because I know people all over the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. It's nice how that happens, right? Yeah. You know what? I don't know Jonathan Pritchard.
Well, there you go. I will connect you. So if you want to have him on your show.
Oh, yes. That would be delightful. Goodness gracious.
Right. And I'm going to connect you with that other lady that we talked about too, because she likes to have weirdos on her show. And I think you fit the bill.
I am weird and loud, and I hope that it was certainly okay. I hope that.
Yeah. I think we had a lot of fun conversation, and I think my listeners will enjoy it. I hope.
I hope so.
Anyway, thanks so much for coming on the show. Bye.
It's been a pleasure. Toodles.